Greetings everybody and welcome to another Star Trek Online video. Tony here from the 37th Tactical Wing Fleet here in Star Trek Online. And many of you have been emailing me, sending me YouTube messages to make more videos. I've had quite a few people wondering where I've been, and basically where I have been is I've been busy doing a lot of other things. I'm a musician also, and I've been busy recording, also working my normal day job, so it's been very hard for me to come on and make Star Trek videos. However, I have decided to make this video right before watching some football here on Sunday. So kind of chilling here on one of my new fleet starships, my Fleet Star Cruiser, the USS Ohio. And I'll tell you what, I really love the star bases and everything like that. So anyhow, today's topic will be bridge officers, and we're going to talk specifically about how to obtain bridge officers, ways to configure them, their traits, attributes, all that fun stuff, and maybe we'll get into some strategies with them. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not that, but we're going to go into the basics of bridge officers and a little introduction on how to acquire them and what they're for and all that. So many people they think, you know, they don't realize that, or some people don't realize the importance of these officers. Now granted, these officers are not your duty officers. Your duty officers are the people that will do your assignments. Bridge officers are basically the pets in the game that let you use abilities on your ship, and they also let you use abilities on the ground. So we're going to kind of chill out here at Earth Space Dock, and I'm going to go over this. So bridge officers, how to acquire them. Where do you get bridge officers at? Well, the first thing you do get them from you get them from many different ways. Number one, you get them from completing missions. Some missions do have them as rewards, and as a reward, you can pick a different bridge officer depending on which mission it is. Second, you get them from the bridge officer acquisition person here, the requisition officer person on Space Dock. You also see them on other star bases, and you could either even get one on your home star base for your fleet as well eventually, once you get your star base to where it needs to go. You also can get them from duty officer assignments. There are some assignments, if you actually complete the assignments, like for example, if I get to, like right here, if you get to a certain point, so on your duty officer assignments here, once you hit, you know, the 100,000 for, say, rank 4, you can get these types of things here where you get achievement. So every so often, for each category you've hit 100,000 commendation points, you get what is called a bridge officer requisition, basically through your duty officer assignments. You just start the assignment. You also get review an officer, and I don't see that here, but you do get to where you get to find the assignment where you actually get to do like an evaluation on a bridge officer. And you do, based on how well it goes and how the assignment goes, you can get a purple one. Usually they're blue, sometimes green. You usually get a blue officer. And speaking of that, obviously there are different ways to, or different types of officers as far as levels, as far as, you know, the very rares, the rare, the uncommon, and then the common. And then last but not least, you can find them on the exchange, and the exchange is a very good place to find bridge officers as well. So anyway, going to start off now. Where do you start off with bridge officers? You do get a couple to start off with when you start the game, but you know, press K on your keyboard if you got your hotkeys ready, and you know, for the most part, you're looking at an officer, and you acquire them first. Requisition officers, and all the ones at the requisition store are commons. So you know, you're looking at different. They start off as candidates. So your officers actually start off as bridge officer candidates, and then you can do one of two things with them. One, when you get the candidate, they are over here. You can pick which one you want to use, and commission it, refuse it, whatever you want to do. Click on this, for example. You can use it to train, but if you use it to train, and we'll talk about bridge officer training here in a little bit, you can only train in one skill, and then once this officer trains somebody in that skill, this officer goes away. You cannot use it. You can have it join you, or you can get rid of it. So they all start off as candidates when you buy them off the exchange, get them from the duty officer system, a requisition officer, or a mission. They all start off as candidates. Now, man, I remember back when I started, these were energy credits, not dilithium. Anyhow, so you kind of go down here. So you acquire the officer, you get that officer into your roster, and we'll just kind of look over here, and let's pick this one here. They have skills, so each bridge officer has basically 4 skills for ground, 4 skills for space, and obviously you could train them, and then once you get to a certain amount of points, you can promote them. Right, so this guy, for example, he's been promoted. Now you can't promote them above commander, so sorry guys, you can't make a captain or anything out of them, but can promote them all the way up to commander. And they all have different attributes. So we're going to kind of look at the overview of the bridge officer itself. Now, you have your bridge officer stats, depending on what kind of armor you got, weapons, you know, all that stuff. And pretty much, for the most part, you can configure them in many different ways if you want to. So, for example, we will go to, we'll just go to regular. It doesn't really matter, actually, but we'll go to my android, for example. Different species have different attributes, too. Don't forget. So, you got your stats, and, you know, based on what kind of armor and stuff that they're wearing and what devices they have, things like that. But you have your stats, and then you have your passives. So, every bridge officer has passive traits. And they all have, each species has unique traits and then general traits. So, like, for example, the android has reboot and the android attribute. And basically, you just put a mouse over them, and you can see what attributes they have. And these are general traits that can be shared between species. You know, go to this one here. Superior covert-footed. And these are general traits, racial specific traits. Leadership for humans, for example. Let's go down the list to, say, Klingon. And, you know, you look at this Klingon here. You know, these are specific traits for Klingons. You have Andorians, for example. So this Andorian, cold dwelling, and these are general traits, but I don't think Andorians really even have specifics. You got a Trill here. A Betazoid here. You have, let's go, what is this? This is another Betazoid. So, go down here. This is an alien. Now, alien bridge officers you can configure in many different ways as far as what they look like, but they also have, they all pretty much have general traits. They don't have any specific species because you can make an alien whatever. So, but, you know, the list goes on and on. You kind of see what I'm going with, and as far as the different types of officers, you got obviously have the engineered soul. You have like the Jemadar's got the unique stuff, but those are basically it. And these are your skills, which pretty much, you know, you look at that with your skills tab here. Now, if you want to, if you are that much of a Star Trek Online nerd, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you guys view me, I am, you can type a bio for each of your officers. And I of course, am one of those people. Make fun of me all you want. I'm very proud of it. I actually have bios for all of these guys. I even went so far as to put my bridge officer ranks on the 37's website. So that's, if that doesn't tell you how diehard I am for Stowe, then I don't know what does. So, but you can do a bio thing, and obviously they can have armor, shields, weapons. You pick one weapon for them. Obviously, for Borg purposes, you got a remodulator. Tribbles don't seem to work well with the Klingons, so I usually don't give them a tribble. But that is this is the overview of a bridge officer and what you can do with them and what they look like. Obviously, you can give them uniforms like you do for the most part. But anyhow, to make a long story short, these are the overviews of what the bridge officers entail. You do have the special officers that you get, you know, your Reman, your Breen, which I actually really like this guy quite a bit. You do get the veteran bridge officer. You can obtain that, and if I can find that, my vet here, he's somewhere. Here you go. They got some unique traits. They actually come with some cool weapons. You look at these anti-proton weapon and armor and shielding that he gets. And you can also do, you can put a lot of other things on. You can actually put sets on them, which I've done that with a few of them. I have my own anti-Borg task force. For example, you know, my android's got a Mako set. This one here has this one's my medical officer if I'm fighting the Borg, like say in Bertrand, and she has an Omega set. You have yeah, I have my Borg officer, another special officer with unique traits here. She has an Omega set as well. And I use the Omega and the Mako depending on what situation I guess I'm facing. But these are the different attributes and all that fun stuff to go with these officers. Now we will talk about training. Training is very important. I can be quite honest with you. Training is a very, very important aspect to your bridge officers. Now, every one of these officers, and again, I was one of the insane people when they had a half-off C-Store sale long time ago. I bought a ton of slots. They have since put the limit on that, so you can't quite have as many boffs as myself and maybe a couple other people may have. But training is very important for these guys, and you know, some of them, you know, the very rares, they do come with like their own sometimes a level 3 attribute, but level 3 attributes are trained one of two ways. One, you find a candidate that can train in a level 3 attribute. Most of the candidates, almost all of them, if they have a level 3 ability, okay, that you say you obtain them from a mission, like a very rare, for example, or a rare, they have their own unique level 3 abilities. For example, you have captains that can train certain level 3 abilities, and then there are level 3 abilities that you can only obtain by getting very rare or rare bridge officer candidates, sometimes uncommons as well. Like for example, there are no captains that can train in Tychon's Rift 3. You have to have a very rare bridge officer that is able to train in that. Or you go down here with Reverse Shield Polarity 3. Again, you can only captains cannot train in that. You have to get this ability, for example, from a bridge officer from the exchange for a mission from whatever. And you know, going here, gravity well 2, blah 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 blah. Well, no, stasis field 3, for example, down here on this science officer is not a captain trainable attribute. And if you want to really get a good chart, you can go to stowwiki.org. They do have a chart there. And scatter volley, I'm a tactical officer. I'm maxed out in all the attributes where I can train something, but I cannot train in scatter volley 3, simply because of the fact that it's a non-captain trainable ability that's only done by a candidate. Now, captain trainable abilities. If you go here to train a bridge officer, you go up to my officer here, go to my status, and then what you do is you go train officer. Click on that. You are able to train in all of these level 3 abilities and some level 2s based on your skill tree. But I purposely geared this character to be able to do this. But as a tactical officer, you can only train tactical officers. And engineering can only has the engineering level 3 abilities, and a science can only train in science abilities. Now, I cannot obviously never get the ability to train in a level 3 science ability because I am a tactical officer. So, just to kind of some food for thought there. And then for anything level 2 or below, you go to the Bridge Officer Trainer here and click on this Officer Training, and you go from here and just go by level. And it's really cool. Go by Ensign, and you can pick whatever ability you want, and you just go down. Cost a minimal amount of energy credits, and just basically kind of go down the line here by whatever, and you can train lower level abilities here. Now, many of you wonder, okay, how to... People email me, how did you get a Captain trainable level 3 ability on, say, this alien right here? And it's very simple. You trade them. So, not trade them, but you get one of your other fleet members to train with you, or to come up to meet you in the game. And what you do is you train them, not train them, but you trade that officer to them so they can train it. So, how you would do this is very simple. You would unequip the officer, take all the gear off of this officer. Then you drag it, just click on it here, left click, drag it into the trade window, and click accept trade. Now you cannot trade special officers like the android, the Borg officer. I don't think you can trade the Breen. Yeah, I don't believe you can. And I believe you can trade him if somebody already doesn't have a Breen officer. Let's put it that way. The Riemann, etc., etc. You cannot train the really special ones. But what you can do is you can trade all your other ones. So you have to unequip them. That person gets them, and say, you know, for example, say if I received this Klingon tactical officer from somebody, I would have him in my possession because someone gave him to me to train him in a skill, and I would train him in, say, Lunge 3 or Photon Grenade 3, which is something I'm able to train in. So, in summary, basically, to train in the really good level 3 abilities, you have to go to the exchange or get a bridge officer candidate that could train in specific level 3 abilities, which are not trainable by characters and captains in the game. And then there are the captain abilities, which are only trainable, well, mostly only trainable by captains. You do get a couple officers that do have some level 3 abilities that a captain can train, but it's not very common. So that is how you train officers. I do have a summary at the37s.com. You go to BOF training on the website, and it does give you a summary of what exactly I am talking about as far as cross-training officers, getting other people to train them for you. And it's a common practice. It's something that I encourage in this fleet and that we do quite often for each other. So that's where you go as far as bridge officers and training them. Now, you may wonder, okay, now how do I configure, not configure, but, you know, how do you use these abilities? Very simple. And I'll just go into space, finding my, I guess my former flagship, the USS Ohio, but I'll show you where the abilities trays are and all that stuff. And we'll talk a little bit about that here as well. But that's pretty much an introduction of how to acquire, train, and some of the attributes for bridge officers. And I do love the Star Cruiser. Some people in the game really don't like it. I love it. I think it's great. But your ability trays are here. And obviously, depending on what you are using as far as your bridge officers, as far as abilities, you can mix and match them. One thing I like about this ship, and I'm just going to this isn't really a specific ship configuration, this is kind of giving you an overview, but what I do like is that certain officers have certain traits that help you out, and of course your abilities. Now, the one thing that is rare in STO, space traits are very rare, but very, very good. For example, a Saurian has the efficiency trait, and they go to her here, and efficient trait is great. It's a space trait. Some of the other buffs here, like, you know, for example, this one has the efficient trait, and so on and so on. But you do get those that do have an efficient trait. Same thing with you know, space warfare specialists. I mean, I think some of these things are really good. Gives you a big boost if you use this one, for example. So there are specific traits for each officer, and obviously your ability trays are down here to be able to use them, or if you hotkey them, or you are using a Razor Naga, then you can hotkey them on your Razor Naga or a keyboard. So, but that's basically it. Those are the basics of bridge officers and bridge officer, basically bridge officer training. And you know, again, you have your abilities. You have your specific abilities that you are able to use with each one of them, and you can configure them. You can customize them. You can, you know, some of the things I like to do are sometimes put some of the Borg sets on them. But I will warn you too that you have to have a good combination of abilities to be able to really utilize your officers to their fullest potential. I mean, you really do, because certain combinations are great. And I'm not going to go into the strategies. This video has been long enough. But those are the basics of bridge officers, how to acquire them, how to equip them, how to train them. And you can basically, you know, if you need any help, anybody needs any help, wants to know what I'm talking about or how to do what I'm talking about, by all means, email me, Tony@the37s.com. I will be happy to answer any questions, whether you are in the fleet or whether you are not in the fleet. I am here to help players, every player in the game. So with that, everybody have a great day, great weekend. I'm about to watch some football here, and you guys all have a good one.
Ripping and tearing our way to the gate, the chosen